Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. This is another Lunch and Learn. We're going to see if some folks jump on here before we get going. So today we are talking vision boards. Of course, it's the end of the year. It's December 30th. And 2021 is right around the corner. I think we're all ready for us to turn that corner. 2020 has been a tough year in a lot of ways. Loss, grief, sadness, learning new skills, trying to figure things out. So we are ready to get to the next step. 2021, here we come. Good morning. So it's all about manifesting. What does the next year look like? And there's no better way to begin planning that than right now before we even turn the corner into the new year. So one of the first things that's really super important to remember about manifesting is that gratitude creates abundance and complaining creates a deficit. So we have to remember that gratitude creates abundance and complaining creates a deficit, because the way the universe works is that the energy we have boomerangs back to us. So if we've got some high energy, positive energy, I am in abundance energy, that energy boomerangs back and smacks us, and there we have it. If we're complaining, we're down, we're negative, we're sad, and that doesn't mean we don't have those feelings sometimes. We absolutely do. But the important thing is to remember not to stay in that space. But when you have that down energy, that negative energy, that's also going to boomerang and come back to us. So it's very much about what we put into the world is what we're going to get back. And I don't think that a lot of people, good morning, I don't think a lot of people understand that whatever energy you put in is what you get back. And it's not necessarily about, I want this particular thing, and so I'm going to get it because I asked for it. It's about the energy that you're putting in. So gratitude creates abundance. Complaining creates a deficit. So important to remember those very, very basic facts. So let's get busy. So what does it mean to manifest? That is, it's a very abstract concept, and being someone that is working on manifesting my own world is very much about what this thought is, what this desire is, and that it comes into fruition and it becomes real. Thinking that I want this particular thing or this particular job, or I want this type of relationship, and being able to think about that and put those positive vibes into the world and have that come back to you. That's what manifesting is all about. There's something that you can find if you're a Google searcher. If you Google the whole concept, okay, Blue, he's just drinking and drinking like he's on the desert. There's a concept called a thought model. If you Google vision boards, that somebody called it the thought model, but all this really is CBT. It's about your thoughts becoming, eliciting emotions, and those emotions eliciting an action. So thoughts, emotions, and actions. And that's all manifesting is about having a thought of something that I want in my life, and what emotion does that bring to me, and then that action coming to pass. That's all manifesting is. But before we even get there, the important thing you have to reflect on is, do I believe? Do I believe? Do I believe in this process? Do I believe I can manifest what I want in my world? Do I believe I have that kind of power and control over my world? That is very key, because if you don't believe, or you're kind of like half in and half out, you're riding a fence, it's not going to work. Because remember, it's about the energy that you're putting into the world. So if you're putting an energy of, I don't know if I really believe this or not, guess what? That's going to boomerang back to you of that flaky in and out type of energy. And that's the thing you don't want. Good morning. So it's really important to make sure that you are 100% invested in the process of manifesting, because if you're not, it's not going to work. If it's like, oh, well, yeah, kind of, sort of, I think that might work, I don't know. You have to really remember to be 100% invested, or it's not going to work. The next thing to really think about is being intentional. And I say this a lot to myself. I say this a lot to clients, to friends, to family, is you have to be intentional about what you're doing in your life. And that doesn't mean every moment is planned. That doesn't mean everything is predictable. That doesn't mean you know what everything's going to look like. But it means that you're being intentional with your time and your energy. So when you go to do your vision board, you have to be intentional about what that looks like. So you have to believe, you have to be 100% invested, and you have to be intentional with what you are trying to manifest and bring into your world. Remember, those thoughts create emotions, and those create actions. It's a very basic therapy model, cognitive behavior therapy, but it's very, very relevant in terms of manifesting and boomeranging that really great energy back to you. So here we go. Vision board topics. Like, what should that look like? Does anybody do vision boards that is on the line with us? I know I did mine last year. Let me see if I can grab it. And forgive me, I did not get the notes uploaded to the website. So if you went to go find them, they're not there. My apologies. So here's my vision board from last year. I know it's going to be all backwards. Well, Jen, I hope you're going to join my vision board party on Saturday on YouTube. I'll tell you a little bit more about that. But this was my vision board last year. I knew that I was going to be mobile because I had been manifesting it and I had been planning it. And so this is my vision board. It's very small. This is like probably a 12-inch circle. I might go and grab some different decor to put on here. I might go grab some stickers or something from Michael's. Matter of fact, I'm going to put that on my to-do list. So that's my vision board. So as you see, it doesn't have to be this big giant thing. But what are your topics? Like what are you trying to work on? So things like maybe health goals. I had health goals last year. One of them was to make sure that I get my water in. Water is so important in how our body functions and us being healthy and us feeling alive and energetic and all of our systems working. And I don't get enough. I do a lot better now, but I do struggle with getting my water in every day. So that was one of my goals. 7 hours of sleep. Again, I have to be super intentional about making sure that I have that nighttime routine in place. And then I'm saying, okay, I want to be asleep by this time because I know I got to get up at this time. So being intentional, movement. With me being on the go now, I am walking probably 3 to 5 miles a day. And that feels really good. So, but I need more. I just ordered some roller skates. Actually, they've been delivered, so I need to go pick them up. So I'm super excited to start roller skating down by the beach or just wherever. Something I've always enjoyed doing was roller skating. So that'll be my additional movement. And weights. Weights are super important. With me being 52, I got to get the weight work in because we lose muscle tone as we get older. So the weight's in. So health goals. And make sure it's really specific. And that's important on all your goals, is really hone in and make it specific. So is it I want to do, work out 3 times a week? Is it that I want to eat more healthy? And that looks like making sure you get your salads in, your greens, all that good stuff. Be very, very specific of what that looks like. I don't know about you, but I've already started taking my notes. So here's my notes for my next vision board that we'll be working on Saturday. But make sure you take some notes, like what does that look like and what do I want to accomplish? And so that's the thought. And so what's the feeling? How will I feel when I am eating healthy every day? What's that going to feel like? I'm going to feel energized. I'm going to feel like I'm taking care of myself. Your digestion is probably going to improve. Your sleep is probably going to improve. You're going to feel like moving, and like, what is that going to feel like? So what is the emotion that's generating by the thought of that particular goal? And when you accomplish it, what's the feeling that is going to go along with that? That's important. So as you are beginning to brainstorm and you're beginning to put thoughts down on paper, this is the thought. Okay, I'm going to lift weights 3 times a week. Okay, well, what's the emotion that goes with it? Well, the emotion is I feel super strong. The emotion is I feel super, I feel like I've achieved something. I feel like I've taken really good care of myself. So a lot of self-love and generating those kind of feelings. And then the action comes because we are thinking about it, the feelings that we want to invoke of what it's going to be like achieving that, and then being able to go ahead and through with that action. The important thing to remember about manifesting and vision boards is that you have to make sure it's things that you have control over. So, you can't manifest, well, I'm going to win the Powerball, because you have zero control over that. But if that's something that's important to you, you can say, okay, I'm going to make sure that I go buy 5 tickets on Wednesday and 5 tickets on Saturday. And I'm going to pick my numbers, or I'm going to let them be random. And then, what is the feeling that goes along with winning the Powerball? Because you have control over the purchasing of tickets. You don't have power over actually being able to make yourself win the Powerball. But maybe it's I want to buy a new car. So, what car is it? What's the payment range? What's the cost of it? Make sure that you have control over what you're trying to manifest, because you just cannot manifest random things that you don't have a part in. Because remember, there's action that goes along with what that goal is you're trying to manifest. And if you don't have control over it, then the action is kind of meaningless. So, vision board topics: health goals, learning goals, like what do you want to become better at? What do you want to learn? I mean, I think 2020 has been the year of learning, because we've all had to turn to different things and different activities to keep us motivated and to keep us inspired and keep us tethered to being alive, because it would be so easy right now to just fall into a dark place and not want to participate in life, because it's changing and it looks different than how it normally looks. So, learning goals. There's some great websites out there. I think Skillshare is the one that really stands out in my mind and is super affordable. There's people that get on there that are knowledgeable about what they are doing, and they do master classes, and I think it's like an unlimited amount of classes for $40 a month or something. Get online and look at your local community centers. What are they offering? There was a point in time that Raytown School District in Kansas City, in Raytown, Missouri, offered adult education stuff that was online. Learning a foreign language. Do you want to become proficient in learning Italian or Chinese? So learning goals, those are super important, because those are enrichment of you. That's personal enrichment of who you are. And so that's important to really consider those learning goals. What does that look like? Career goals, of course, because we got to work. We live in a system that we have to work. And so what does that look like? What are your career goals? What do you want to do? What do you want to do when you grow up? Do we have to grow up? Adulting. That's the whole thing, is adulting. But so career-wise, what does that look like? And maybe the career and the learning are very much attached to each other, because you have to learn this thing before you can advance in your career. So again, making sure, if you're at a very entry-level position, having a goal of I want to be the CEO of this company might not be realistic. You can still put that on your vision board, but what are the steps that go along with that? And you'll have to, work your way up the ladder, or, maybe this is the year you want to be an entrepreneur. A lot of people have had to become resourceful on their career. I was listening to the news, I think maybe a week or so ago. I think it was right before the holiday. And a woman had been furloughed from work. And she started a business. And let me tell you, it is thriving, of creating the charcuterie boards to go. Who would have thought that that would be a thriving business? And I'm sure that it's really doing well now with the holidays and people not wanting to prepare those things. But she had like single to go, and, for 2 to 6, and then really huge ones. And that she is doing super, super well with that. I talked to a lady yesterday who is a flight attendant. She's been furloughed, but she does dog grooming, and that's something she taught herself to do and got the certification. And so she saw me in the van, and we started talking, and so she's very much excited about looking at vans and creating a mobile dog grooming business. So it's really about what does that look like and what are the steps. So the career doesn't have to necessarily be a traditional 9-to-5 corporate America, but what does that career mean for you? And what do you see yourself doing? What gives you passion? One of the things I'm putting on my vision board is I want to be able to travel to the Caribbean to either work for a short period of time or to volunteer. Because even though I like California weather so far, it still gets pretty cool. It was 45 over the night, so I don't think I'm a California girl anymore. I think I'm a Caribbean girl. I am just such a warm-bodied person. Like, I've just got to have the warmth. I'm a reptilian, But being able to put those things on your vision board, like, I don't know how that would come to pass, that I would volunteer or I would do social work stuff in the Caribbean. I don't know how that would come to pass, but I'm going to put it on my vision board, and I'm going to start doing the research, because, man, I can feel the sun on me, and I can, feel the warm water. Just the island vibe is just so awesome. It's such an awesome vibe. So that brings me great happiness just thinking about that. So career, what does that look like for you? All right. Family goals. Family goals. So that could be any host of things. That could be like mending fences with, so Bailey said I would have thought, love me a good charcuterie board. I know, wasn't that was just, to me, insane that people would like pay for that. But when you've got folks that both members of the household are working full time, and you are about to entertain, or since we're spending so much time at home, that I love a good one too, Bailey, where you've just got these different varieties. Now, I don't do the meats on there, but like cheeses, and like I love pickles and olives, pretzels and crackers. I can make that a meal sitting and watching, binge watching Netflix. Absolutely. And it's a lot more healthy for you in the long run than sitting down with a bag of, chips and dip or something. So I would have never thought that. But what a creative way to be able to manifest income for herself. I thought it was very, very cool. So back to the family goal. So that could be about mending fences. That could be about if you're trying to start a family. That could be maybe there's some things in your family that you want to work through. Maybe you want your family relationships to be different. So what does that look like? Being able to put those goals down. And remember, what do you have control over? What are the actions that you can do to bring that into place? Another important thing to remember is that with a vision board, it doesn't have to be specific goals. It can be priorities. So maybe it's not about that I'm going to have these specific health goals, but maybe my health is a priority. Maybe it's not so much that I have these specific self-care items I'm going to do, but that self-care is a priority. And I kind of did that on this one, is that so gratitude was important for me. And so I didn't list the things I was going to do, but just seeing this gratitude reminds me that every day I say out loud, I'm thankful for whatever. And I've really been doing that lately when I begin to have that energy that's pulling me down, that negative energy. I mean, let me tell you, it's hard out here being isolated. As much as I'm enjoying van life and the financial freedom piece and being close to the water, it's also hard because I'm isolated. I mean, I see my daughter and grandson once or twice a week. But outside of that, I see my girlfriends through virtual, my other family on virtual. But like for me to have human interaction, it's very, very few and far between, other than when I go to the grocery store or Staples or something. So when I begin to get in that slump of, man, I feel really isolated and I feel sad. Being able to say, you know what? And in California, homelessness is crazy off the chain. Being able to say things like, I'm so thankful for having a place that I can lay my head at night that's warm. I'm so thankful for heat. And, you know, the brain chemistry does its magic, and bing, bang, boom. Not everything's perfect, but I'm out of that negative slump. So really being able to focus on gratitude was helpful, but that was a priority instead of making specific goals. So priorities can definitely be on there instead of goals. Another topic is vacations. So I mentioned the Caribbean. I mean, I've been in the Caribbean to vacation, but it's not realistic for me to live there. So just to go back is something I would really want to do. And again, I don't know what that looks like, but you know, again, life is different now. And so what does that look like? One of my goals is I would love to do one of those Mediterranean cruises, like go to Greece and Italy and be in that area. And I think it's like a 13-day, but who knows if cruises will ever make a comeback. I mean, this pandemic in 2020 has hit the travel industry super hard. So travel is going to look different. But I would still love to go to Greece and check that out. I would love to go to Egypt. But if they're requiring you to have this shot, this vaccine to do international travel, I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know. But travel is definitely, vacations you want to take is definitely a topic. And like, where do you want to go? But there's a lot of beautiful places in the U.S. as well that we can explore if international travel is not possible. So like, I know I want to go to the Grand Canyon. I've got a couple others on my list that I wanted to make sure that I made it to in 2021. So what are vacations that you want to go to? Places that you want to explore in your own city. I mean, there are always endless amounts of things that you can find if you are just curious and open-minded to it. So, you know, maybe the goal is I visit one new place a week. Maybe I go check out one new restaurant a week, or, you know, doing takeout or whatever. So places you want to visit in your own city. And there is an app, and I think I've probably shared it before, but it's called All Trails. You know, I really like to walk in nature and hiking. And so that's an app that has all of the walking trails and all of the places in a particular area that are available in nature. So I really like that app. And I know that there's other apps as well that can help you explore your city for sure. Meetup.com is a great place to explore local activities. And, you know, if we're feeling isolated, I know I've joined a couple of meetups, one for hiking and one for, I think herbalism. I forget. A couple of them are on hold. Hiking, of course, we can do outside, but, you know, it's just different. We're still all really adjusting to how different it is. But places you want to visit in your own city and explore. And again, that's about personal enrichment. It makes you a more interesting person. You have additional conversation. It makes you more knowledgeable. You have those experiences and you can share them and empower someone else. Like I was yesterday, just literally had the van side door open. I was sweeping out the endless amount of Blue's DNA that he sheds constantly. And she was walking by with her 3 dogs and just said, hey, can I ask you a couple questions? And it's like, you never know who you're going to impact with being present in your world and being a part of your world. So I thought that was really cool, because part of my experience and part of my process with van life is that I did a lot of research. I didn't have anybody directly to talk to, but I did a lot of research and watched a lot of videos. And so those were very instrumental in me being able to create the space I wanted and understand the things that I would need and some of the obstacles I would encounter. So I thought it was very cool, and it made me feel really, what's the word I want to use? I just felt really just warm and fuzzy on the inside, because I was able to share something with her inadvertently that impacted her and benefited her, and I empowered her in a way that I didn't even try to do. And so it felt really, really good to do that. So making sure that you're going out of your comfort zone and going to see different things and do different things is really super important as you are growing and trying to evolve. Home decorating projects, DIYs. I know a ton of people that have like totally revamped their whole house. Every time you go by a Home Depot, parking lot's packed. Would you agree? So a lot of people are doing the home decorating projects, but what does that look like? One of the things I've encouraged a lot of clients that I talk to that are feeling the impact of the isolation and the change in routine and not having the same mechanisms is that create like a command center at your home. So what does that look like? Is that like a whiteboard or a cork board where you've got your routine and structure? And if you've got kids, like what is their part in chores? Because that's very important that they have that structure and are part of that as well. So a lot of clients I've worked with have created those command centers. That's, maybe a little corner in the living room, or a little corner in the dining room, or maybe they've got the luxury of having like space in the basement or whatever, but being able to create that space. Maybe you've always wanted to redo your bedroom, but you're like, I don't know if I can fit it in. Dream it, like look through things and create it, and what does it look like, and put that on your vision board if that's something that's important to you. Sleep is super important, so making sure that your bedroom feels like it's embracing you and getting you ready for sleep is super important. Maybe you always wanted to landscape outside, so now is the time to think about that and plan that, and what does that look like, and how would you feel walking up to see your landscaping in your yard? What feelings would that bring out in you, and begin to plan that. I know it's January, or coming into January, and some places you're not able to do the landscaping now, but plan it, map it out. There's apps that you can put in your dimensions, figure out like what plants or what you want it to look like, and begin to put that in place. So home decorating projects are super, super important. Imagine, like, what does your best life look like? Good morning. What does your best life look like? Because in order to manifest, you have got to have that vision of what it looks like. Does that mean that you don't wake up to an alarm clock? Does that mean that you're not on a particular someone else's time schedule? You create your own time schedule. What does your best life look like? If there were no obstacles, and this is called the miracle question in social work, is if there were no obstacles to you having exactly what you wanted, what would that look like? Don't think about the deficits of what I don't have to make this happen, but look at, this is what I want it to look like. And then go backwards from there as to what the activities look like and the tasks and that kind of thing. So what does your best life look like? Does that mean you're able to vacation 3 times a year? Does that mean you look to buy an RV? Does that mean you're looking to get a different house? Maybe you want to pay off your mortgage. That's your best life, is being able to not have a mortgage payment anymore. What does your best life look like? And then what are the things attached to that that you can now make part of your goals to manifest that to come into reality for you? Meditation goals. I think that's important, especially with those folks that have anxiety. Being very intentional about having some sort of mindfulness practice is very important. It might not be the traditional meditation but having a very intentional mindfulness practice. And so, again, what does that look like? Mindfulness can be very fun and enjoyable. It does not have to be this additional thing to check off my to-do list. And think about that. Meditation is to the, mindfulness is to the brain what cardio is to the body. And we've got to have it. No matter how much we try to bypass it, do it a different way, shortcut it, we have got to be able to learn how to make our minds be still and be quiet. So what does that look like for you? And again, maybe it's just a priority, or maybe you have certain tasks. I'm looking forward to roller skating because that's going to be a mindfulness activity for me, is being able to skate and focus on the rhythm of my body as I'm skating and listening to the wheels go across the concrete, feeling the sun on me, feeling the wind. So it's very much going to be a mindfulness practice for me. I'm excited to be able to do that. And they're fun skates. I think the lights go off and on, and they have a little pom-pom on top. It's like, I'm just 18 again, getting my little skates on. But I'm excited for that, for sure. So, mindfulness. What are your mindfulness goals? What are you going to do to make sure that you are quieting your brain and you are really keeping that skill sharp and on top of things? Affirmations. This is a really good one for your vision board. Being able to sort through, like, what am I struggling with and what is my end goal? So, maybe it is anxiety. And so the affirmation is, I am still. Maybe the affirmation is, I am well. Being able to figure out what that looks like. And we'll talk a little bit more about that Saturday during my vision board party that I'm going to do on YouTube, about some of those affirmations that will connect with certain cognitions. Because, again, I think that's super important, is to be able to, if you're someone that struggles with perfectionism, that an affirmation is, I am enough. An affirmation would be that I am able. I believe in myself. Those kind of affirmations are very important. So being able to identify what are your cognitions that you have on a day-to-day basis, and then being able to create an affirmation that is going to counter that, so you can really begin to generate some movement and really being able to believe and let the things go that are holding you down. And think of like a ship that has an anchor on it, and that anchor is meant to plop right in the sand and hold that ship in place. Think about, what are your anchors that are holding you in place, and what do you need to be able to pull that anchor up so you can continue sailing through the water. That's super important, to be able to sit still long enough to think about that, so that you're able to put some things in place and practices in place that are going to help you evolve. All right, so steps to manifest. And I can post this these notes on the website so that you can grab them down. But the vision board topics we went through. So steps to manifest. Think about your vision. I probably started this process of van life about maybe 5 years ago. I initially bought a camper that I was going to pull on my Trailblazer, and it was just going to be 3 or 4 long trips throughout the year. That was the vision. The camper got stolen, and so I'm like, okay, well, maybe that's not what I'm supposed to do. So again, over time, it emerged, and even in the process of me trying to find a van, I had my mind set on one particular type of van that I wanted. And that was what my search was about, that one van. And I got frustrated because I couldn't find any that were in my price range. I couldn't find any that met what I was looking for, because one of my had-to-haves was that I wanted to be able to stand up in it. I'm not a very tall person anyway. I'm only 5 feet, so that shouldn't be too much of a challenge. So most conversion vans would work for me. But as soon as I opened up my vision that it could be more than just that one van, within a week's time, I found this van. And it was exactly the price that I wanted to pay. And it was coming from a family who had a son who had abruptly transitioned, and they still had the van. But he wanted to do exactly what I wanted to do, and that was to fix it up and be able to get on the road. And so it was just like all of these really cool things came into place, and bing, bang, boom, I had my van once I opened my vision up. So think through your vision. Make sure that it's not tunnel vision, but make sure it's not super broad to where it's not realistic either. Think through your vision. Do you notice any themes? Are there themes about wellness? Are there themes about money? Manifesting wealth is very real. There is an affirmation that I do on YouTube that is about manifesting wealth, because there is a very real obstacle for many people that try to manifest wealth, because it's a very bottom base belief of, I don't deserve. And so when you have that very base belief of feeling that you don't deserve financial freedom or wealth, and wealth doesn't mean that I'm a millionaire. Wealth is going to mean different for different people. But there's a lot of times that very, very base belief that I am not worthy, I don't deserve, I shouldn't have. And so being able to manifest wealth is super important if that's something that's important to you. Paying off debt, paying off student loans, being able to invest money, being able to have a retirement fund, being able to set up education funds, being able to pay off a mortgage, pay off a car, whatever that is, being able to manifest that. It takes the thought. It takes what am I going to feel like when I do that? And then what are the actions I need to take so that I can bring that into fruition, for sure. So manifesting wealth is very important as well. So themes. So think about your vision. Are there any themes? What do you begin to feel when you envision your future? What do you begin to feel when you envision your future? And so begin to just write down some of those emotions. And these will be some of the steps we go through Saturday when we do the vision board party. I'm just going to be there to assist with dialogue and make suggestions and have fun. So what do you feel when you begin to envision your future? I knew for me to be able to be in a space of where I could move around, although I'm not moving around as much as I want to because the world is closed down right now, but I'm definitely able to go to the ocean 3 or 4 times and be by the ocean. That was super important for me. The water is very calming and is very spiritual for me. So that was important. And me being able to think about what is that going to feel like to be able to walk in the sand and feel the sand on my feet and the sun on me and hear the waves. That was very important. So I could envision that and I could feel those feelings. And here I am. Now, has it been an easy journey? Absolutely not. It has not been an easy journey. But that's part of the process. That's part of the human process, is that not everything is just going to come to you easily. And I've learned a lot of lessons in the last year as well. So what do you feel? And then once you begin to accumulate all of your information, now it's time to assemble your vision board, and what do you want it to look like? I did some posting on the event on Facebook, and I know, Jen, you don't have Facebook, but you can definitely just Google or get on Pinterest. I mean, you can do it on a cork board. You can do it on a whiteboard. You can do it on something this small. You can do it on a big poster board. You can make a whole wall a vision board. You can make the back of your door a vision board. Put it on your mirror. What does it look like? Is it going to have stickers? Is it going to have paper? Is it just simple? What does it look like? And be able to pull that together and have the supplies. I think before the age of digital, a lot of people gathered magazines, and you certainly can still do that. I think it might be a little bit more efficient for me to be able to get on something like Canva and create the image I want. That I can make sure I have my images in there. It's important to have your picture on your vision board. But if there's like a particular car you want, you might not find that in a magazine. If there's a particular style house you want, you might not find that in a magazine. So being able to utilize other resources like Canva and Photoshop, Adobe, those kind of online resources are important, because then you can make your image exactly what you want it to look like, print it off, which is what I need to do this week is finalize and put those images together. That's probably what I'm going to do New Year's Day, is finalize all of my images and send them off to be printed so I can pick them up Friday. But like, what does the vision board look like? And make sure you take into consideration like your space. I'm also going to have some images that I'm going to put in my planner. This is this year's planner, and I have another one coming. I actually think it's been delivered. It's the same one. I absolutely love this planner, and it's a manifestation planner. But it's just about goals, and there's just like lots of places to write. I mean, all my marketing stuff is in here. It's all just one space. Gratitude, everything is in there. So make sure that you have your images somewhere that you can see them, so you can reaffirm and you can do the process and do the manifesting, because you can see them. If you create a vision board and then you don't really look at it, then it's not gonna work. Because remember, it's the energy that you're putting into the world, because it's this thought, I want this, and this is the feeling it elicits, and then these are the actions that go along with it. So you have to be able to see your vision board. Those are my last 2 points. Include a picture and put your vision board somewhere where you can see it daily. And that kind of wraps it up. That's manifesting through vision boards, down and dirty, in 40 minutes. Do you guys have any questions or thoughts you want to share? Or what are some things that you do that help you manifest? Anything you want to share or contribute before we disconnect? Anybody doing anything for New Year's Eve? I know there was a restaurant here in California that had done like meals to go for Christmas last week, and they were putting in the bags, they were putting this invite to a very hush-hush New Year's Eve party that they were doing, like a prohibition style. And they're getting a lot of flack for it now, because again, I think the confusion of like closing down restaurants and nail shops and that kind of thing is not what's spreading. It's people that are continuing to group up in these large groups and not using the practices of social distancing and hand washing and that kind of thing. So Bailey said, I'm excited to start my vision board as the first party of my 2021 bullet journal. All right. I know you've done bullet journaling in the past, Bailey, and I think it's an amazing process, but I have never been able to get into bullet journaling. To me, it's like super tedious, but it's a great mindfulness practice. Jen said, thanks for the info. Excited to put it together. Absolutely. And so, Bailey, you've been doing bullet journaling for the last 16 months. Is that what you're meaning there? Because again, I see some phenomenal bullet journals. Okay, so for 16 months. And what have you noticed from the bullet journaling? What have been the positive outcomes from you doing that bullet journaling for you? Because again, it's a great mindfulness practice because you're very much into the activity that you're doing right here. You should not be focusing. Hey, Nicholas. You should not be focusing on what's going on in the outside world or like cycling thoughts, but very much about being able to be right there in that moment in that bullet journal, being able to, do the doodling or the drawing. So you use it daily to log your gratitude. That's awesome. That is phenomenal. And that's so important to have intentional gratitude. And that is one of the things that I suggest to almost all clients is that we all have gratitude on a daily basis, but it's not intentional gratitude, and being able to stop and really think about what are the smallest things I'm thankful for. Like I'm thankful I have silverware to eat my food tonight, or I'm thankful I have water to be able to wash my dishes. So Jen says, I have to look into bullet journaling. Never heard of it. Yes, look on YouTube, and there are thousands and thousands of bullet journaling videos. So you might feel a little overwhelmed. And then Bailey said, as well as a calendar, a budget book, regular journal entries, poetry, memories, photos. Exactly. So you use your bullet journal as like your mobile command center, kind of like I do, that I put all of my stuff in one place. And I've read, and it's been suggested that you have a separate gratitude journal. But for me, that just doesn't work. I really like to have everything in one spot. I love that it has this elastic band. So then if I have loose stuff in here, which I almost always do, it does not fall out. But my one for 2021 is purple, so I'm excited about that because purple is my favorite color. And Bailey said, because I've used it for so long, has helped me track my progress through my mental health journey. Absolutely. That is so important, and you're so right on the money, and I'm glad that you said that and you're able to kind of like show that that's the outcome, is that when you are on a mental health journey, is that today feels very real, and I might not remember where I was a year ago, and that a year ago I was in a much different place and what I would categorize as, a worse place or a more intense place than where I am now. So it is very important to journal about the progress in your journey, because it does give you an enlightenment that you might not have otherwise. I wish I could send pics here. My journal is my pride and joy. Well, hey, if you want to share that Saturday and talk about the bullet journaling for those that are on, again, I think it's super important for people to hear that. So Jen says, I want to see Bailey. Awesome. I don't know if you guys have visited my website, but I almost have the wellness circle all set up for us to have a private community that's going to be similar to this, but it's going to be in a private space where we're going to be able to talk about mental health stuff. So if you haven't checked that out, go check it out on my website. I'm hoping to have that fully up and running. My goal was the 1st of January, but I don't think I'm going to make it just because I'm struggling to pull it all together with the logistics of building it. Website builder is not on my resume for a reason. But I am learning, and everything in its own time for sure. So yes, Bailey, if you feel comfortable sharing your bullet journal Saturday, then please do, because I want, again, for people to be able to share information and be able to talk about things that work for them, because that's how we empower each other, is by sharing that kind of information. So Saturday, what I say, 1 o'clock Central Time. I think that's what I said. Let me look and see. Gallery. Camera. No. Bailey said I'll pencil you in. She's a hoot. I think I said 1 o'clock Central Time. There it is. Yes. 1 o'clock Central Time on my Holistic and Well YouTube station. We're going to go live and hang out, and we're going to talk about manifesting and vision boards and whatever else you guys want to talk about that you feel comfortable talking about. I do have my brand new My Big Brain Dump journal. I'm going to be giving away one of those. It's a digital download, and I'm also going to be giving away an oil-infused bracelet with essential oil. So a couple of giveaways, and talk about the Wellness Circle a little bit, and I will probably run a promotion in January of like maybe half off for that first month, so you can get in there and see if you like it, and then share the information. So I am going to be doing a giveaway on my Instagram of one of the journals, so I'll be looking for that. Oh, I think I still have mine somewhere. You just reminded me. You have, your bracelet, Bailey. Yeah, that's super important. That's super useful to have and to use, because you're able to put the essential oils right into your bracelet. And I've been putting some new ones together, so I'm gonna debut those and start doing some videos. It's just you want the journal. So I'll be looking for the giveaway. Oh, look. That's a blooper. Be looking for the giveaway on Instagram, and then I'm going to give away one during our vision board party. So I think that is about it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Replays are on the website, on my website. If there's any topic you missed that you want to go back to, or if you just want to go back and revisit it so that you can get the information again, the replays. And I need to post that on Instagram as well, because I don't think most people understand or realize that the replays are on Instagram. So thank you so much for tuning in. I am developing topics for January. If you have any topic suggestions or anything you want to talk about, either send me a message or send me an email, or we can talk about it Saturday so I can get those topics set up for January. Thank you so much for tuning in. You guys take care. Have a safe and wonderful New Year's Eve, and I will see you Saturday. Bye-bye.